Hey everybody, it is Jameson and I am coming to you with another video, this one being about star families and why we connect with specific star guides, light beings, gods, goddesses, and the like. And I see that so many people want to know what star families that they connect with, where they're from, and it can get a little confusing because there are so many. And sometimes we begin to connect with multiple star families, and that's because you actually carry multiple fragments of all of these different races. So if you are one of those people that is exploring the different extraterrestrial races out there beyond this world, then you might be kind of getting a little confused and going, well, I connect with these beings and I connect with these. However, some of you are very clear about the different ones that you lock into. Now, I want to explain that a little bit. Sometimes when we are locking into a specific god, goddess, or being, or extraterrestrial race, it is because that is the aspect of yourself that is coming forward or awakening at that particular time in your life. So for example, when I first said, okay, I'm ready to really fully meet all my guides and make these connections, it was like every single day a new being would come. Sometimes they would come for 1 to 2 days for the integration process, but mostly it was like one a day. It was like a new friend a day. It was like star speed dating. And I really didn't know what to think of that at first, but I had to kind of move through the experience so that I could be able to understand it for myself. Because we do really have different experiences and we cannot compare our experiences to any others. We must be willing to kind of explore what our soul history, what is in our Akashic record, to understand what it means to us without comparing to anybody else. And that's a lot what I tell clients that work with me. Try not to compare your experience with that of how other people are experiencing their star families, their star guides, and all the non-physical beings that work with them. So as I was moving through this, every day new entities would come forward, and I mean all kinds of new entities, things that you would recognize, things that you wouldn't recognize, and everything in between. Most of them are quite beautiful. I would say all of them are quite beautiful in their own way, even if they look a little bit very different than what we perceive our physical reality to be. They still have so much beauty within them because you can tell that it's actually all out of love. So when it comes to understanding star guides and star families, it's really wise to keep an open mind that there might be many who want to step forward with you. Those who have a mission on this earth to help the planet ascend, help people to come into their full awakening abilities, helping them flower and expand their consciousness, typically have a lot of different guides who will work with them because there are many different aspects that need to step forward. Now, that's not to say that everyone else doesn't, because there are different guides who fulfill different purposes within that lifetime for a person, and they step forward at different times as their life progresses. But for people who are starseeds and light workers, well, typically, I think we're all starseeds, to be honest with you, but those who are consciously awakened to what their purpose is for being on Earth are going to typically have multiple guides who work with them. Now, they might only be tuning into a few of them, and that's because if all of the other lives you have ever lived and all of the guides who work with you were all of a sudden dumping their information on you, that can be extremely overwhelming, and it would actually do a disservice to you because it would be so much information that you can't even compute it. What happens is we get information or downloads, right? We get packets of information, downloads, thoughts, feelings, tunings in the ear, all of that stuff. And then what happens is we need to integrate it. You can't just simply get pounded with, you can't simply get information over and over and over and over and over again without letting it integrate. It's kind of like when you're in school, you're being taught something by a teacher, and then all of a sudden you have to allow it to integrate. You have to do the homework. You have to understand it and unpack it. Or else what happens? You skate right over it. You don't fully integrate the lessons or the teachings, and then it doesn't do all the work that it needs to do. So it's kind of like this. So you're letting these different guides come forward at different times to give you bits and pieces of information that will serve you in the present moment and for what you are doing, and that will forever evolve. Now, when I first started working with the interdimensional beings who work with me, by the way, who have always worked with me, they first came as angels, and I've stated that in previous videos before. They first came as angelic beings, and that transformed into the other light beings, gods and goddesses, extraterrestrial races, if we want to consider them, and all the different elemental energies who work with me, so on and so forth down the line. I did not know it was going to be like that. For when I was younger, I was afraid of extraterrestrials. So having the experience where now they're connecting and communicating with me did take a second to fully integrate and really make that connection. Now we have a rapport and a connection where we have a mutual respect, a mutual love, and that can sound very interesting for some people, but it is just my reality. They have been working with me for a very long time, and now I'm just kind of coming out with it and not being afraid of it, and that is the key, not being afraid of it. So there are going to be tons of guides that come forward for you. For you exist on all of these different realities and planes. You have so many other lives that will come in your future, that are in your past, that are happening concurrently right now. So as you're having all of these experiences of yourself, they will come in and connect with you at this time because they are not limited by the physical reality we live in. They can come in and be able to integrate the energy and the knowledge and the wisdom that you need for these guides, these star families, these extraterrestrial races, and so on and so forth, are actually just you in another reality. They are just you. So let's look at this. For example, I have recently brought forward channelings with Sobek, who is an ancient Egyptian god, correct? Well, that is because the ancient god energy of Sobek is actually an aspect of me. I carry the fragment of Sobek, which is why I can connect with his energy. Now, I'll tell you, when gods and goddesses were presented to me a long time ago, I thought they were just personifications and representations of a belief system and how they could put energy into things and what they believed in. I never believed that it was actually a real entity that could connect with and you could work with. And now I understand that when you are spiritual and you understand what happens in the universe, that these are actually real energies. I would have never thought I'd be channeling an ancient Egyptian god and having different ones come to me, as well as ancient Greek gods and goddesses, let alone extraterrestrial consciousness. I didn't even know what extraterrestrial consciousness was, but now I'm connecting with the sacred light, who is a 9th dimensional Pleiadian collective who is working with me, but they're a collective energy. They're not one entity or one individual being, like let's say me. They are part of a collective entity, but I am a part of that, which is why I can receive that information, because I am them in a future life, in a future sense. For our souls continuously move on and evolve, and that's what everything is about: living and learning, expanding, ascending, remembering what our soul is, what our soul wants, what our soul's mission is. That's what this life experience is about. So this is why we have star families that come in and begin to work with us or give us that information. And it's happening for all of you, regardless if you are aware of it or not. It's actually happening to everybody. All of you have star guides. All of you have ancestor guides. All of you have animal guides. All of you have certain elemental guides, because we have all had these different, or having these different experiences in all of these different realities. Now, some have more than others, which is why they're tuning into those aspects of themselves, because they're basically integrating and awakening that memory within their cellular memory as well as in their energetic body. So it's a reawakening of the Akashic record within the self. What's happening is when you are ready to enter into a new gateway of your life or the next level, you're going to have energies that are working with you to assist in that process so that you can do it on the level in which you set out in your blueprint to create. So they will step forward. So you have all of these different entities. Some people know that I connect with the dragon entities and energies. And some people have fear around that because they believe and they're tuning into a specific aspect of that. But for me, I'm tuning into the angelic dragon energies who are all of unconditional love. The dragon energies which work with the archangels, angels, star families from other realities and ancient star systems. Those are the kinds of beings that I work with. And they work with me, and they've been working with me for multiple reasons, but that's what I'm tuning into. You may tune into the fairy dimensions and the fairy realms, which are bringing you specific information, and I know some of you do. So it really depends on what's coming forward for you, but we have so many star guides that you are part of all of these other realities. What happens is if you are tuning into one of them, then that's the one that you're integrating or awakening within your DNA structure and your non-physical DNA structure. That's the one that's reawakening within you. That's the one that wants to integrate its energy so that you can awaken the codes for this particular experience that you're having. So I hope that makes sense. Maybe. So think about that, let it process, understand that you do not have one single star guide or extraterrestrial guide or there's different beings who are working with you at different times. Those aspects which are integrating within you can vary, waft in and out. Different guides will come forward to provide you different information, and it's really not important that you understand that fully and completely. All they care about is that it happens for you and that you're fulfilling your mission. They're not attached to if you know who they are. It brings them great joy when you do know who they are. There's a thing going off, so I apologize, but I'm in it, so I'm not going to stop this video. But they appreciate and they are filled with so much joy when you do connect with them. But it is not necessary, for they are you and they understand that you're having a three-dimensional Earth experience. So if you are interested in tuning into your star families and star guides, the first thing that you do is you ask. You say that you are ready to tune into these beings, the beings that are you. You say, I am ready to know who my star guides are. Please give me signs and symbols. Those signs and symbols may come in the form of things you see on TV. You might begin to start seeing certain symbols that are going to lead you to these things. You might happen upon a book that's going to show you the name of these star guides or star families. It might be in music. You're going to tune in to the frequency of the request that you make, no matter what that request is. The important thing is that you keep an open mind to how you might be receiving that information. Many people are awakening these aspects of themselves now, getting visitations, dreams, visions, and I know that many of you are reaching out to me as this is taking place to help you kind of maneuver that experience. The only thing I have to say is that it is truly all out of love. It is truly all out of love. So make sure that when you connect, you're always reminding yourself and you're tuning into your heart and reminding yourself, I tune into the highest aspects, the highest guidance of the light, because I know that all things are out of love. And I know that this too will serve me and I have something to learn or integrate. Just because we haven't seen it for most of our lives doesn't mean it hasn't been happening for our entire lives. You're only going to access the information for which you are ready to receive. And really, that's up to you. So I ask you the question, what are you ready to connect with? And what are you ready to receive? And are you willing to receive more love into your life? Because that is what this truly is all about. I appreciate you all so much. I hope you like and subscribe so that other people can see these videos. Please comment and reach out. I am here for you. Thank you.